Good evening and welcome to the Newshour at 9. I'm Madhavdas Gopalakrishnan. Ladies and gentlemen, democracy allows us to express our views freely, to speak out our minds, even criticize those in power. That's all very much par for course. One can do that from any platform, but one has to be wary whether the space and stage offered to do it is not by those having links to India's enemy or those who deliberately are giving a spin to tarnish India's image globally. Now, this is what the former Vice President did last night. As India was celebrating the 73rd Republic Day, Congress Neta and former Vice President of India, Hamid Ansari, was busy attending a seminar organized by the Anti-India Lobby. This is an event that was organized by the Indian American Muslim Council, which had lobbied in the past to get India blacklisted by the US Commission on International Religious Freedom. Now, even the US senators who attended the meet are habitual offenders when it comes to taking anti-India stances, which we will reveal in the course of the debate. But first, listen in to what Hamid Ansari said.
In recent years, we have experienced emergence of trends and practices that dispute the well-established principle of civic nationalism and interposes a new and imaginary practice of cultural nationalism. It seeks to present an electoral majority in the guise of a religious majority and monopolize political power. It wants to distinguish citizens on the basis of their faith, give vent to intolerance, insinuate otherness, and promote disquiet and insecurity. Some of its recent manifestations are chilling and reflect poorly on our claim to be governed by rule of law.
Let me tell you about these questionable connections of members of IMC who claim to be the crusaders in highlighting the deteriorating pluralism in India. Sheikh Ubaid, who's the founder of IAMC, once served as the General Secretary of the Islamic Circle of North America, which is the US front of Jamaat-e-Islami in Pakistan. Rashid Ahmed, who's the Executive Director of IMC, is the former Chief of Islamic Medical Association of North America, where the Director of Operations is Zahid Mahmood. He served in the Pakistan Navy. So the event organizers certainly have a connection to the organization serving as Pakistan proxies. But what was the rationale of the former Vice President to be part of such an event? Times Now tried to get an answer from him, but to no avail. My colleague Nilashish has been stationed outside his home in the national capital since last evening, but we haven't been able to get in a word from the man mired in controversy. In fact, we've even sent WhatsApp messages to his staff, but there's been absolutely no response. Now, despite all of this irrefutable proof, opposition has given a clean chit to Ansari. Listen into their comments.
पोलराइजेशन का सच बात यह है कि गांधी के हत्यारों के जय जयकार का सच बात यह है कि औरतों के खिलाफ इतनी निम्न दर्जे की गंदी बातें इस देश में बोली जा रही हैं। मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि इसका प्रमाण दिख रहा है और इसका प्रमाण हर ओर दिख रहा है, लेकिन सरकार कदम नहीं उठाती है। आज नरसंहार का खुला आह्वान होता है, गांधी को खुली गालियां दी जाती हैं और सरकारें जो उत्तराखंड की सरकार है या केंद्र सरकार है वो मुंह में दही जमा के बैठ जाती है।
काल के मुसलमानों के कत्लेआम का नारा न लगाया जाता, उत्तर प्रदेश में योगी आदित्यनाथ 80% 20% के बीच चुनाव की बात न करते और देश का प्रधानमंत्री सुनता रहता, एक लफ्ज नहीं बोलते, तो शायद हामिद अंसारी को यह बयान नहीं देना पड़ता।
No doubt about it that they are misusing religion as a political instrument. Direct political instrument in politics.
After Times Now's news break, the NDA went after Bharat bashing brigade. Listen in.
मोदी बैशिंग की सनक भारत बैशिंग की साजिश बनती जा रही है। आप मोदी बैशिंग करते करते भारत बैशिंग की साजिश में अगर लिप्त हो गए हैं तो इसी तरह की आपको आवाज़ सुनाई पड़ेगी। आज जो है वो देश का जो सकारात्मक माहौल है उससे वो लोग जो लोग के अल्पसंख्यकों के वोटों का शोषण करते थे उनमें बेचैनी है, और वो इस तरह की बातें करके और पूरे दुनिया में भारत को बदनाम करने की षड्यंत्र साजिश कोई आज से नहीं कर रहे हैं, बहुत दिनों से कर रहे हैं। और जो लोग ये बात करते हैं उनके पास न तर्क है न तथ्य है।
And that brings me to the legitimate question that we're asking this evening. Is Congress colluding with India betas?
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Let's take this across to our panelists. Joining us live with us is Tuhin Sinha, spokesperson of the BJP. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, is with us. Sushil Pandit, Kashmir activist, joins us on the broadcast. Also with us is Mruzamman, political analyst. Mruzamman Chowdhary is a leader of the Congress. Vivek Srivastava is a political analyst who's with us. But let me first and foremost go across to PKT Nambiar, political analyst who's with us. Mr. PKT Nambiar, there are many who are saying that, these are issues in India. These are real issues. But the question that perhaps we don't have a very clear answer for is that what prompted the Vice President, someone who's been a constitutional authority, someone who's been a diplomat, to go and attend this particular platform, say these words at an event where there are foreign senators, when he himself has been a constitutional authority. Surely, we are not seeking advice on our constitution or our pluralism from foreigners.
Madhav, it is not only just that he was a former constitutional authority, but also he was a seasoned diplomat, which he served this country across the world, represented this country. So he knows the nuances of participating on an international platform, and he is very well aware that what kind of organizers he is going to join. With having all kind of information in his hand, I think ever since he was demoted the office, we were all known to that he has got some kind of a bias, or he has got a different opinion altogether. The skin which he was wearing from the last so many years was not his true color. This is something which we were all aware. But I was not known to that he is such a big Jamaiti. I was not known to the fact that he is having such a kind of a dirty mind for this country. I was always having a belief that he would have been at least a strong, he may have an opinion of his own, but he would have been a true nationalist and a patriot. Today, he has not only ditched the country and the countrymen, because it is something which he is a well-known fact that the organizers were a Pakistani-funded, ISI-funded, Chinese-funded organization, and he went on to, and that too a day, when you and me and the entire nation was celebrating on the 26th 26th January.
Yes, that is also very important. That is also very important. But certainly there are many, many points of debate here. We're going to go across to them one by one. My question, and I want to take this across to Dr. Suman Siraman. Dr. Suman Siraman, a person of this stature, a person who has been the Vice President of this country, a person who knows diplomacy in and out, he knows the meaning of discussing domestic events at international platform and international fora. What is the message that we're trying to send out? That we want advice on our constitution from foreigners? The days of the white man dictating to the brown man have gone 70 years ago, sir. But on Republic Day, we are going to seek this advice?
Madhav, I think it is very unfortunate that the theme of this debate seems to be that while things may be the way that former Vice President Ansari spoke in terms of lack of tolerance and all that, he should not have said it in this forum. I think that to a large extent that is almost like shooting the messenger. Now, the point is we need to ask ourselves, has intolerance increased? Has religion started to play a greater role in the polity?
No, Suman Siraman.
And we have to ask ourselves those questions.
Suman Siraman.
One more thing.
Suman Siraman, I am not disputing Mr. Ansari's right to say what he wants to say. It's a democracy. There is right. Democracy and dissent goes hand in hand. Nobody is disputing or taking away his right to do that. The simple question is this, that what is the forum that one chooses to express these views? Is a forum which has links to Pakistan the best way to do that?
In his, one minute. This is, first of all, to my knowledge, it is the Indian Association, it's the Muslims of America kind of association, which is not a Pakistani organization. There are people of Muslims of all different countries who live in America, and it is very much possible that some of them may have...
Yes, sir, that is the problem. There are individuals who are linked to the Pakistan government, to the deep state, to the armed forces, and that is what makes this so problematic. Also, the links of these individuals, the position they have taken in the past, all of that should be just brushed under the carpet, according to you?
Can I finish? At his farewell speech, when he was quitting or retiring from the Rajya Sabha, the former Vice President Ansari is on record saying that the Prime Minister actually said, now you have the freedom to go and practice your ideology, which was something that hurt him greatly because, your ideology was not what he appreciated hearing at his farewell speech. So he has been a vocal critic of the Prime Minister. He's never sort of held back any punches in terms of what he believed was going right or going wrong in India. And it has been a platform for him to put his viewpoint across. Now, you can debate the content that he spoke about. But to say that what he said may have been correct, but he should not have said it.
Subansi Raman, nobody is saying he should not have said what he wanted to, but the forum that he chooses is very important. As a former diplomat, as a former vice president, he has a certain stature. One expects better sense to prevail. But since you have referred to the episode with the Prime Minister, I want to bring in Tuhin Sina. Tuhin Sina, it does not matter. We should be debating what he has said, and we should not be debating the forum in which he has said it. That's the version coming in from Subansi Raman. How do you respond to him?
No, both are equally bad.
Yes, you made your point, Suban. Now please listen to the other side now.
I'm not finished. I wanted one sentence. My basic point is there merit in what former Vice President Ansari...
Okay, you've already said that. We've heard you, sir. You have said that. You've articulated your views. Now please listen to the other side as well. Tuhin Sina.
This is not the first time Hamid Ansari has tried to legitimize SIMI or PFI. In fact, 2 years ago, he had participated on a forum of PFI. And this time, the Indian American Islamic Council has very strong SIMI imprint, which is known to the world, which makes it very clear that Hamid Ansari is a closet, rabid fundamentalist who disguised himself as a secular liberal, the Congress style of secular liberal, to attain one of the topmost constitutional offices. And the moment he was out of it, his true colors have come to the fore. But that also raises some very serious questions about the Congress party. Was he actually towing the Congress line? How is what Hamid Ansari did yesterday, how is it different from what Manish Shankar did in 2015 when he goes to Pakistan and appeals to the Pakistani people to dethrone the Prime Minister? How is it different from Salman Khurshid, who openly equates RSS with the ISIS? So I think, the question which needs to be asked today is that is he officially... Let me complete now. Is he officially towing... No, let me...
One second. Subansi Raman, let him make his point. Nobody interrupted you, sir. Let him make his point. The other panelists also, please. I have to go across to everyone. Tuhin, complete your point, please.
The point today is that is he towing the official Congress line? Because look at the hypocrisy. The same people, whether it is Hamid Ansari or the Congress, remain silent when a Maulana...
You are not discussing the content of what he spoke.
He is the same, the same people, Hamid Ansari or the Congress party don't...
No, why don't you discuss the content of what he spoke?
1 second, Mr. Srivastava, we are not discussing the content. We are not condemning him for saying what he wants to. Everyone has freedom of speech. That is the point. The point that we are saying is why go to an organization that is linked to SIMI.
Everybody agrees.
There is a Newsweek. 1 second, sir. 1 second. It is not a question of agreeing or disagreeing. Everyone has a right to disagree and dissent. That is a fundamental right that an individual has. No one's questioning that. Question is, should you go to an organization? And I am reading out at this moment, Mr. Vivek Srivastava, from the Newsweek. I think you would also appreciate that it is a respectable publication. And they say there are examples of the Indian American Muslim Council, an Islamist group with alleged ties to SIMI, a banned terrorist organization in India. If it has links to SIMI and this is recorded by the Newsweek, is this something that Mr. Hamid Ansari was not aware of?
Maybe he was not aware of. Maybe he was not aware of.
I see.
Why don't you want to discuss the content? Why is
not aware of links with terrorist groups? Great, sir.
No, let me speak. Why are the people over here? Why are the people sitting over here calling him words like a rabbit? Like rabbit. This is not the way to talk about the ex-vice president of this country. Please talk respectfully. He's an intellectual. He has been in the foreign ministry and he's a respected man. This country is intolerant. This country has become intolerant. That is the reality. It is 80% versus 20%. That is the politics you are trying to do in UP. That is what Yogi is doing. And when somebody speaks it out on a platform and you do not know how to defend,
speak
then you
to a
start saying that the
platform.
platform is wrong.
Sir, speak on a platform which is domestic.
All,
speak on a platform where you speak to those within the country. Why debate this with lawmakers of other countries? I can't for the life of me understand that.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Go to rallies, sir. Go to public forums. Debate it in any forum here in India. No problem at all. Should you debate it in a forum that is sponsored by Pakistan?
No, there is a problem. Sir, there is a problem. There is a problem. Mr. Nasiruddin Shah spoke it in India. And he talked to the Indian media. There was still a problem when he was hounded. Mr. Amir Khan's wife spoke to the Indian media. There was still a problem over here. So if somebody is on the minority community...
So what are we saying? We want constitutional advice from the congressmen and senators of the United States now. They are going to tell us how to run a constitution.
Absolutely not.
That seems to be the import of it.
These are conferences.
That seems to be the import of it. I want Sushil Pandit to come in now. Sushil Pandit, it's absolutely okay if he says what he wants to say. I mean, it doesn't matter if that organization has links to all sorts of shady groups and has taken bizarre positions in the past, which are in fact even factually incorrect. Sushil Pandit.
Thank you, Madhav. Well, of course, the platform was wrong, but also what he said was wrong, because he needs to be held against his own track record. As vice president, or even before that as diplomat, I've never heard him even once lament the expulsion of hundreds of thousands of Hindus from Kashmir. Where was his concern for pluralism, for democracy, for secularism at that time?
I don't understand why you track Kashmir.
Has his conduct in Iran as our ambassador ever been scrutinized? You have to check with security establishment how he compromised our interest as the ambassador in Iran. It is not that he was wearing a skin of a secular liberal all his life to become the vice president. He has given enough evidence right through his career, and even as vice president, that he was communal, rabid, and a bigoted man occupying the highest office, leeching us for all the benefits and prestige that comes with it.
Who was the communal?
This man,
the Honorable Prime Minister
of India, ought to be scrutinized deeply. This man has besmirched India's reputation. And by bigger problem, Madhav, is, first of all, you need to get this ranting
One second,
guy
Mr. Srivastava, please allow others to speak. You can rebut him. Allow him to make his point at least. You can rebut him if you don't agree with him. Let him make his point.
My last, but the most significant point here, Madhav, is it's not because the people like him who are parasites we raise in our system and fatten them. It is the system that seeks approval from leeches like him. It is the system that looks up to them for our secular certification. It is the system which we have engendered even today.
The Muslims and minorities are not parasites. The Muslims and the minorities of this nation are not parasites.
Who has said? Who has equated? I think
you're thick head to understand.
I think you're being a little economical with the truth. He is referring to an individual. He is not referring to a community. Let's not misquote each other. There's enough time to debate. But he has made certain allegations. Mr. Sushil Pandit has said that he believes, it is his view, that there are enough indications that Mr. Ansari, in his view, was not somebody who was secular. Please respond to him on that. If you have facts to counter him, please counter him with facts. Vivek Srivastava.
Who is a secular? Anyone who does not praise the Bharatiya Janata Party or Narendra Modi is not supposed to be a nationalist. Congress ruled this country for 70 years, and you are saying they have tie-ups with China? Have they broken this nation? Has it gone into pieces? No party of this country is anti-national, sir. You do your politics, you win elections, you lose elections, but nobody is an anti-national over here.
Secret parlays with the president,
that's the first part.
With the ambassador of China.
And listen,
sir,
if this nation had to break, and if Congress wanted to break it, it would have broken by now. You have lived, you were born, you studied under the Congress rule.
Do you think this nation would allow anyone to break itself anymore?
And you take the facility.
Come out of this slumber. Get real. This nation is not going to allow itself to be broken again.
All right. Gentlemen, let me come in now. There are other panelists who are here to speak. Dr. Anand Ranganathan is with us. One second. I don't want to make this a shouting match. This is a very serious issue. There is a very nuanced debate that we are talking about. The presence of the Vice President at this kind of a platform is bound to raise some, a former Vice President, I beg your pardon, at this kind of a platform is bound to raise some serious questions of propriety, of the conduct, beyond what he has said. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, I want you to come in on this, because perhaps this is unprecedented. I don't personally know, I may be wrong and you can correct me if I'm wrong, of a constitutional authority of the stature of the Vice President participating in such a debate which is so clearly focused on a domestic political issue. One can understand if he was waxing eloquent about something that had, international implications, but that's not the case here, is it? And look at the people he is sitting with.
Good evening, Madhav, and good evening to all my fellow panelists. I've been waiting and listening very patiently for my turn, and I haven't heckled or interrupted anyone. I hope in this hour-long debate I get my 2 uninterrupted minutes. Thank you very much. Madhav, I have always been of the opinion that much more important than where you speak is what you speak. So left to me, if ISIS invites me to their platform to speak, I would happily go there and speak, but I would not, be laudatory of ISIS. I would criticize ISIS. So that has been my opinion, that what is important is what you convey rather than where you convey it. And to be honest with you, by peddling fake narratives and selective anti-India propaganda, I'm sorry, but the ex-Vice President Ansari demeans his image more than he demeans India's. Perhaps, as was alluded to briefly, he is still smarting from the time when Modi laid bare his Islamic fundamentalist antecedents in that farewell speech that he was forced to hear and watch with rapidly reddening ears and eyes. And so he thinks by indulging in such propaganda, he can get back at Modi. Well, people can see through his selectivity and victim card. Remember, he was the one who backed draconian Sharia courts, publicly felicitated an organization that decapitated the hand of a Christian on account of blasphemy. And he is talking of intolerance. He sees only Muslim victims, but has been silent on more than 180 Muslim mob hate attacks on Hindus, Dalits and non-Dalits over the past 3 years, including Bharat Yadav, who was lynched after being called a kafir, including in Ranchi, where a Muslim mob segregated, yes, Madhav, segregated bus passengers based on their religion before wanting to set it on fire. Right from fake church attack narrative and running selective hate trackers to multiple stories of fake Jai Shri Ram slogan triggering, Ansari and his gang have perfected selective outrage. They never outrage on the BSP selecting as a candidate a man who offered 51 crores to anyone who beheaded Charlie Hebdo journalist, or when Mehbooba Mufti condoles the death of Wani the terrorist, or when Congress's Harish Rawat says those who kill a cow have no right to live in India, or when an SP legislator slaps a woman entering Haji Ali, or when Congress legislators demand hanging of Kamlesh Tiwari, or when Yasin Malik is celebrated by Manmohan Singh, or when Congress leader Kannan laments why Modi and Shah have not been killed yet, or when Muslim leaders make incendiary Hindu-phobic speeches, or when tens of thousands collect for funerals of terrorists, then it is not intolerance. Ansari has, I'm afraid, Madhav, just 10 seconds, 30 seconds if you please, has allowed himself to become a dog whistler and a part of this magical mystery tour made up of a motley crew of religious fanatics and Modi haters, including an extremist hack who cautions Muslims to strategize and stay secular until they obtain majority, a deranged writer who thinks Rafale is an aircraft carrier, a washed-up actor who blames Modi for the crimes of Mamata, a bigot stand-up who jokes on Godhra train burning but soils his pajamas when it comes to making fun of his own religion, a kitty party journalist who says she doesn't advocate Indian rule in Kashmir, a screechy RJ who demands equal rights for women as long as women are not Muslim. Together, these fundamentalists proceed from one conference to next, one platform to another, spreading their hate and propaganda. You can't stop them, Madhav. You can only expose them.
I want to bring in the Congress spokesperson. Mruzamman Chowdhary, of course, you have Dr. Anand Ranganathan who's saying that this is politics of dog whistle that is being carried out. But I want to ask a simple question today, that if this individual has attended a conference with those who are, whose questions have been raised about not just their comments in the past, but also their links. Why is the Congress party coming out to support him? I understand that he became the vice president with the support of the Congress party, but this kind of action also being defended is bound to raise some serious questions. Is this the formal stand of the Congress party, that you will now attend international fora also, even if they have park links, even if they have links to all sorts of extremist organizations, and express those views there?
I got your point. To start with, begin with, I'm in sync with Anandji's statement that is not where you speak, what you speak. Let me come into that later. The first basic point is that, Madhav, I believe your memory is sharp enough to remember the Prime Minister of India going to America and campaigning for the United States Donald Trump election. That is one point. That was not the right forum for a Prime Minister of India to go and campaign in a foreign country. Having said that, when Anandji said, what you speak of is very important. Let me just come to the basic point out here, because I am speaking the last. I believe you will have that much courtesy to allow me to complete. First and foremost, from the lynching of Akhlaq Ahmad, Pehlu Khan, Alimuddin Ansari, Tabriz Ansari, to the UAPA cases on journalists like Siddiq Kapan, to arrest of Sharjil Imam, Umar Khalid and Khalid Saifi, to the economic boycotts of Muslim businessmen, the Sulli and the Bulli deals, to the Haridwar Dharam Sansad, hate speeches calling for genocide of Muslims, and you call that tolerance. Now, when the Prime Minister of India tells the people of India that you recognize these people on the basis of the clothes they wear, when the Home Minister of this country tells that a particular community should be treated like termites.
So you also have the example of Tawqir Raza. The only difference I will say is this, that at the end of the day, the Prime Minister is not asking diplomats or congresspersons in other countries for constitutional advice on how the constitution should maintain its pluralism. But since you have raised questions, I'm going to ask the BJP spokesperson. The BJP spokesperson, Tuhin Sinha, on this panel, I'm asking a simple question. Sir, panelist after panelist is saying that this is a result. One second, please bear with me. I'm going to ask Tuhin Sinha a simple question. Tuhin Sinha, panelist after panelist is saying this is because of the track record of intolerance that is openly shown in our society today, that it is now being reflected in this manner. That's a question that everybody is asking, and therefore your response to that.
You know, today Hindus feel very scared when a Maulana Tawqir, after making blasphemous statements and invoking Muslims to go on the path of jihad, is embraced by the Congress party. Today, a sitting member of the Congress party, a sitting MLA in Telangana, openly issues a fatwa to behead Jitendra Dixit the moment he embraces Hinduism. And did even one congressman criticize him?
Do you know that sitting Chief Minister of Assam has said 1983 genocide of Muslims? Genocide of Muslims, 1,800 people were killed in Delhi.
You answered these two questions. Was Maulana Tawqir rewarded by the Congress party for invocation to the Muslims to embrace jihad? What action did you take against a sitting MLA who issued fatwa against Jitendra Dixit to kill him?
What action are you taking?
A sitting MLA issues that. And
he said that 1,800 Muslims were killed because the Hindus have taken revenge on them.
Between Hindu and Hindutva.
Okay, I'm seeing many hands going up. This is a debate that I think we can continue for an entire hour, but we have another debate planned on the show. I'd like to thank all our guests for joining us for the moment. We're going to slip into a quick break for now.